Thank you for joining us. I am here today with Kirsten Kirsteiger, and she and I go way back. And so today I wanted to bring her on to talk about family meetings because I've tried family meetings before. And I can tell you that they're super powerful and they can be a little tricky to do at first. And so Kirsten has been really refining how to help parents uh, bring about family meetings in the home in a way that really supports their children, supports development, and also just kind of gets to the point and fixes all of those little nagging problems that make our lives so challenging, right? So, Kirsten, welcome. I would love if you could tell all our listeners a little bit about yourself. What is your background? What's your relationship to Montessori? And how did your interest in family meetings come about?
I'm Kerstin. I'm originally from Austria, and that's where I'm at the moment. So excuse if my English gets totally mingled up. I'm losing it every day a little bit more. So I am a scientist by training. So I did biochemistry and molecular biology up to a PhD and postdoc, and that's what brought me to California. But I had my son, and then motherhood just changed everything for me. And I just couldn't see myself going back to science. And I also was already looking to change. I was already learning. I was studying like an MBA and stuff like that. That was offered through the postdoc office. And it brought me towards the leadership training. And so I decided after my second child, after having had my second child, I decided to become an emotional intelligence coach and bring leadership tools into the corporate space. And so my goal initially was to bring it to academia or to women in science, because women in science just struggle so much. They have to work in these unhealthy corporate cultures. And then usually not by the end, but when they want to become a family, want to start a family, excuse me, when they want to start a family, there's over a 40% dropout in women. So I wanted to change that by bringing in those emotional intelligence tools and leadership training to the corporate space. However, last year with the onset of the pandemic and the first lockdown, I noticed that so many parents were struggling to suddenly have their kids at home. And I started to translate basically the leadership training and the emotional intelligence tools for the corporate space to bring them into the home and to see how you can create a better family culture. Because we focus so much on the kids. Most of the tools that we get or that we hear and read about is how to maybe get to the root of a behavior,
Right,
how
but it
to
fix
do
your
this,
kids,
how.
right? Yeah,
Yes, so
absolutely.
everything is so much focused on the kids. But what I realized is that a lot of it depends on how we show up in life and what we actually model. And so for me, it's really more about working with the moms to help them find their voice, so that they can actually say what they need to set appropriate boundaries. And so family meetings, like once they step into this leadership position, although moms don't like to be called leaders, they usually refer to themselves as guides, and especially in the Montessori area, right? Or in the Montessori world. So guides and mentors is what more resonates. But honestly, it is a leadership position because we create the culture, we have a vision, we have our values that we hand down onto our kids or imprint on them, whether we want it or not. So I think we better do it intentionally. And so the other thing is, once you think about it in this way, you get access to a lot of tools that leaders use. And one of them, for example, are meetings, and family meetings are a super powerful tool once you get used to them. Like, you really have to use them to get better at them.
Yes, I know. It takes some practice, and that's why we're here, right? To help parents
Yes.
understand that it's not going to work perfectly the first time. There are different parts to a family meeting, but when it all comes together, they can be such powerful tools for transformation for the entire family. So I
Yes.
really love your focus on the parent as a leader. And I also know that in your website and in all the work that you do in your podcast, you speak a lot about the family as a team.
Yes.
How do you what are some concrete ways that you empower your family to be a team?
Well, I think one important factor is that we try to, it's not only in the words, kind of, we don't say only we are a team and that's what we do, but
Mhm.
we actually show that we, even when things are hard, we help together to get to the next step. Um, I think the most important part, and I think a lot of Montessori parents do that, they are very in tune with their kids and they really know how to detect, because observation is key, right? So we really are so in tune to know when things don't feel right. And so if we can create a safe environment where we can talk about our challenges, where we can talk about how we feel, where we can, you know, maybe even if our behavior is like not the way it should be, we can mend those situations where we have like a disruption of the connection. But it basically all comes back to connection. So the more connection you create, the more likely you'll have them, everybody pitching in.
Right, because if they feel like they're part of a team, then they have that sense of significance and belonging,
Yes.
that leads them to be more willing to collaborate, right?
Yes. And
Awesome.
then also I think, I think Montessori, this is basically why we connected so much, Pilar, because we have the same, well, I'm not the educator, well, sort of now because I'm a homeschool mom, but I don't see myself so much as the educator. I see myself as recognizing where I can bring in things, but also recognizing their potential, recognizing their strengths. Where can I help them actually shine? Where can I help them? And when you think about a team, when you think about the leader again, that's what they do. Leaders don't do everything themselves. They
Right.
know how to recognize which team member is best for which job, which in turn gives that member, the recognition, the all the fuzzies, because they are recognized as an important part. And so I think moms have to, or parents have to start recognizing that it's not about us doing everything for our kids. We're actually doing them a disservice if we do that.
Absolutely. Which brings me to my next question. What are some of the developmental benefits of holding family meetings? I mean, beyond the idea of, solving these pesky little problems like, the laundry's always left on the floor or nobody wants to empty the dishwasher, which, it's great that those family meetings solve these problems. But developmentally, what do children get from this?
Well, I think it's much more about life skills. It's much more about the broader vision of what we really want our kids to achieve. It's like you say, it's not about the dirty dishes in the laundry. I'm totally
It
messed it up.
does happen in my
The,
house. We have dirty dishes in the laundry, believe me.
oh man, the dirty laundry on the floor or the dirty dishes in the dishwasher or the kitchen. It's more about, problem solving. It's about learning to see different situations from different points of view, because a family meeting gives you the opportunity to step into somebody else's shoes and see their problem from their side.
So
So it's about empathy,
right.
um, problem solving, out of the box thinking. Um, for us, always, usually before in the beginning, we usually connect through needs. Like, is there anything that doesn't feel right at the moment? Where we give everybody a chance to talk about that first. And so you set up the environment, the ambience. No,
Yeah,
the
see the yeah, like how it feels,
I
right?
told you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I told you.
I can't think of the word either, but I understand.
Okay. so yeah, yeah, it's all those skills that we really want the kids to have when we are not around, right? I
Right.
mean, it's seriously, we are preparing them for life so they won't need us all the time. Yeah, we said problem solving. So for example, conflict resolution is one part of what could be one part of a family meeting. If you have a recurring conflict and it's not getting resolved then and there, or if it's a very heated conflict, you don't want to resolve it right then and there, and you want to take it to a different time so everybody has a calm mind. um I don't know what skills I forgot. Yeah, but it's all about those um big picture skills.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're also modeling a lot of executive function skills, right?
Yes.
Because the children see you planning for the meeting, right? And then they see you kind of organizing the different parts of the meeting, taking turns, listening to others, like you were saying, and then putting yourselves in other people's shoes. So empathy. These are tools that the children can take with them all
Yes.
the way into adulthood. And imagine how powerful that must be, right? To
Yes.
because most of us weren't raised this way. So to
No.
be able to, yeah, to be able to grow up having these skills and to then be able to translate them into the workplace, into their own families, into their own relationships. What a gift we're giving them, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this was one of the light bulb moments when I went through the training. Um, so the training was kind of special that I did. It is a 6-module leadership training where basically adults take an emotional intelligence assessment before, and then you guide them through 6 different topics. And then at the end, they do it again. So the way the training was delivered to me was that I prepared one of the modules. So I was sitting in there as if I was a participant.
mhm.
I had no idea what other people were going to deliver. And in there, I had this light bulb moment where I was like, oh my gosh, everything that I've been doing with my kids or that I'm trying to do with my kids, I am being trained now to go into the corporate space to train adults because they had not had the chance to learn those tools. So this is where I was like really excited, but also like, I think we need to bring this to the families. We need to do this because it's helping our kids be more successful, but it also helps ourselves right now in our situation
Right.
because
So it's a short term and long term, right?
short-term and long-term benefits, because yeah, you're suddenly not the person with the weight on your shoulders and solely on your shoulders. You can suddenly tap into the team, and you can tap into your partner too, because of all the tools that you learn about how to communicate and emotional intelligence in general.
Right, right. What a huge weight off our shoulders, right? If we can take all the steps and put them into action. It really strikes me when you're saying, these skills that corporate employees need to have. And corporations pay thousands. I was in HR, and I know that we would pay thousands of dollars for companies to come in and train our managers to have these conflict resolution skills, empathy, listening, communication skills, all of these things. And the fact that we can give them to our children not only allows them to, solve their problems when they're growing up, but I mean, if you look right now at what skills the companies are looking for, the big companies, the Googles, the Apples, all these big
Mm-hmm.
companies, they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for these soft skills, right?
Yes.
They
Yes.
care less and less about Ivy League education and
Yes.
more and more about people who come in ready to lead and ready to connect and
Yes.
collaborate.
Yes.
So it's
Absolutely. And there is actually, I think it's in Covey's, like one of the leadership gurus. He said that a technical skill that you learn is outdated every 3 years.
Wow.
However, the so-called soft skills, which actually in the industry, they're not called soft skills anymore, they're
Oh,
called essential skills.
fascinating.
Um, they are there forever
Yes.
because this is what you have to do. Like leaders lead people, not the company. It's not about it's all about connection in the end. I mean, so you can't get anybody to do anything unless you have a good connection.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, walk us really quickly through the different parts of a family meeting. I know that you have kind of a more in-depth training, but it's family meetings are not just sit down and air out all your grievances, right? You
No.
kind of have to structure them in a certain way. So, what are the different parts?
Okay, so what I like to do is we like to start out with a connection piece.
Mm.
So I know you use that too. We sometimes use the cube from Big Life Kids where
Mhm.
we roll and it's like a grateful
Like a
gratitude exercise,
like a
not
gratitude
gratefulness,
practice.
gratitude
Mhm,
practice.
mhm.
So sometimes this, or sometimes we just, ask some connective question, like what we were just doing and to get into the mood. Um, so that's the first piece. And then we usually go around, like you said, I have sort of some templates that I use. And depending on the age, the kids can, they can be scribes and they can, you can hand off the different positions of
Responsibility
the
position.
leading,
Oh, fascinating.
right?
Cool.
So but what we like to do is we like to go through everybody to say what worked for them the last week, or depending on how long it was that we haven't had a meeting, what didn't work and what they wish they would include more of.
Mm.
So everybody gets a voice about that, and then it depends on what time of the year we are in and what we are doing. Like if you're planning for vacation, we'll have like certain topics. We usually also have a running list of things to discuss for the next meeting. So that's what we'll pull in and that's what we'll talk over. um, the funny thing is, so we write down those, everybody gets a voice, and so we write that down and then we go through it and then we'll try to troubleshoot or problem solve together, give everybody again a voice to see what's their idea. How do you think we could resolve that? Not always us giving them, it's not a top down.
Right.
Again, it should be a collaborative meeting. And then usually what I have is I have a column of we like to outsource. So we have different columns. We have columns of what we want to focus on, or what we came up with, what we want to include more of. Do we need any support for that? And support could be maybe a friend, maybe my kid needing me or my husband, or like I said, outsource. So we decide depending on whether we have the skills or not. Can we help our kids, or is it better to find a mentor, for example, if it's homeschooling related?
Yes, how important.
Um, and so usually we do set those columns of which support is needed, by when do we want to have that. One of our hot topics, of course, since we're homeschoolers, is the goals the kids set themselves for their education. And then if they haven't, like if we had a goal from the last meeting to the next and we're at that meeting, we will check in. Well, did you reach your goal? What do you think is missing? How do you think we could get there? Things like that.
That's
So in the end, we kind of resume it and we make an action list of what do we need to focus on. Again, usually we try not to focus on more than 3 things, because it's just, life gets busy, even though we try not to. um, and so that's what we will carry forward to the next meeting to check in.
right, right. And how do you conclude your meeting? Does it have like, do you just kind of like, okay, we're done?
We are
Or
usually done. We're
you're
usually
done?
done. I mean, we oftentimes for us meetings include that we will have coffee and cake or muffins, or we try to make it to make it as comfortable as possible. Um, sometimes we stay there and play a game. We like board games. So it all depends on the day and what mood everybody is in.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the kids will be like, this is going on for too long. We don't want anymore. It depends on the ages. My little one doesn't have she's patient, but she also knows when she's done, and then she
Yeah,
lets us
she's
know that
5,
it's,
right?
yes,
She's 5, so there's
just turned 5. Yeah.
there's so little, and yet they're getting so much out of it even at this young stage. Now, what I love about your approach is, I mean, I know you, and you are, very organized and structured and methodical, and so I love that you bring those skills to the work that you share with parents around family meetings. And so what kind of tools do you share with parents? What do you offer to help guide them through family meetings?
Oh, to help. Oh, for the family meetings. Oh, for the
Right.
family meetings, I made a little family meetings blueprint, and it's basically a short video course. I think it's 3 or 4 videos right now. And then some templates. So some how to do them, why we do them, what to focus on. Um, and then some templates where you can basically print and work off of. I pre-filled a template to see what we usually have in there, and so it's pretty, it's quick to get an introduction, but you can really take it and use it right away.
Right. And they can see kind of how you used it. And so it
Yes,
helps them understand like what a real life scenario would be like.
yes, we are
Awesome.
trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get my family to actually film a behind the scenes where we,
Oh, how cool.
but it's not that easy. My kids
Yeah,
haven't
no.
agreed yet, so I'm not trying to push it too much.
Right.
But yeah, one thing that I can say is it takes time. So don't give up on the first or second meeting. It's something that they have to get used to in the first. They might not, they might feel like they're in trouble and they don't want to share. So it's really, really important to create that safe space. And what happens over time is that your kids will actually ask for those meetings, like mine do. When they know there's something on their mind they really want to talk about, they're like, I think we should have a meeting about this. So
Mm.
so it is really the kids, they have learned to love them, or to use them for for their um what's on their mind.
Absolutely, because when they see that there is problem solving going on, it gives them the reassurance that they have a voice and that they can use that voice and that they'll be listened to.
Yes.
What a powerful tool. And I'm really glad that you bring up the fact that it requires practice, that, real life can be messy, because I hear from parents, well, I tried family meetings once and it didn't work. My kids didn't want to do it. And so what do you tell parents when they come up against that resistance?
So usually what I mean, I already mentioned to create a safe space,
Mm,
to maybe in the first, it always depends on the ages too, but letting them know that this is not something that they're in trouble, and this is not something that you want to do to them, but you want to hear from them. You want to really know what's going on, and you want to see, because you can give examples. You can play around. I don't know, if you're walking or driving past a person that's, I don't know, maybe they have a guitar case, and you can say, oh, he plays the guitar. And then you can say, maybe not, maybe he's just walking the guitar to a friend.
mm,
Or maybe, so you can role play into those situations, that if we don't talk to a person, if we don't listen to their point of view, we don't know what's going on. And so if you do that in everyday situations, they can start seeing the power of imagining situations from a different point of view. And then you can say, look, in the family meetings it's the same thing. I see you do something, it might not necessarily be what you want to convey. So if you tell me about what is going on behind this, then we can talk about it, then we can find solutions. So it's more about making them feel safe and letting them know that only if they share, we actually can know what's going on.
That is amazing. I had never heard that piece of helping them understand that, there are different sides to a story and that we'll only get to it if we investigate and if we share. That is
Yeah.
so I have to share that with my kids and my husband.
And we do that a lot now.
Amazing.
We do
That's
that a lot. Yeah.
yeah, that is so powerful. Oh my gosh, this conversation has been really enlightening. And I'm so grateful that you are bringing family meetings to the to the awareness of families because they can be so transformational. I've had really great experiences once I took the time to go walk through all of the different sections of a family meeting, like what you offer in your blueprint, and really kind of train, everyone, kind of help them become comfortable with the skills. And the results have been really, really gratifying. I noticed that everyone in the family feels more connected. We give each other a chance to like see value and appreciate the contributions that people give, and it just leaves us feeling good, right? It just leaves you
Yes.
kind of feeling like you belong to a family as opposed to disconnected, which is how everybody
Yes.
sometimes feels. This has been amazing.
I would like to add something if I
Please
may.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, maybe two things. So
Go ahead.
yeah, one thing I think oftentimes we don't take the time to talk things out, and everything that's that's unsaid leads our mind to second guess and to we go into this
Storytelling mode
in
where
the
we like create
storytelling
the
mode,
stories in our head.
although it might not be true. So I think family meetings are just so valuable for every relationship in the family because it gives you a dedicated time where you can share and where you can say, oh, I don't know, and for moms, especially, like you said, when I was a kid, I was never asked what I wanted to do. Honestly, I think I can't remember that I was given a voice, or not much at least.
Mhm.
And so now we are in the situation that we oftentimes still don't find our voice. And so in a family meeting, I think it is important to see that also for the moms, it is an opportunity to make, for example, invisible work visible. Like
Mhm.
when we share our chores, this is something that we talk about. And it might be, my husband, when he was working out of the home, he didn't know what I was doing all day long, until I said, okay, this is what I do every day and this is what I do every week, he was not aware of it. And so now that he's working from home, we have split our tasks and our chores in a different way because it gave me the opportunity to show and to tell, this is what I'm doing. So for moms, I think, especially those who are struggling with doing it all, it's a huge opportunity to ask for help, to get everybody on board, because the kids, they notice that if you're doing everything, you don't have time for them. For
Right.
them, it's a direct relationship, correlation.
Consequence. Yeah, absolutely.
But also for your husband, it's like partner, whoever is in your family,
Right.
um so I think we underestimated as moms oftentimes how powerful it can be for us to actually get a little bit more of air and and a little bit more time for ourselves too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a gift for everyone, right? To be given a space to voice our needs. It's so powerful. Is there anything else that you want to share?
No.
We're good? Awesome.
No.
So
Yeah.
I have a final kind of surprise question for you. And that question is, okay, fill in the blank. I would like to live in a world where what?
This is a lot. I think I would like to live in a world where moms wouldn't have to choose between work and family life and have more support.
Yes, absolutely. We deserve it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it has been such a pleasure having you here and chatting with you. Thank you for all the work that you do. And where
Thank you.
can people find out more about all of your blueprints and your coaching work?
So I have a website which I'm overhauling, so it might be a little weird at the moment. It's my first name, last name.com. So it's
Okay, we'll
Kerstin
link it.
Kirchsteiger.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll link it so that everyone
I
can
know, I know.
find it.
I have a freebie on there. It's basically /checklists. I'll give it a link. And the family meetings blueprint, I have to link it to you too at the moment because I have like two pricing. I just had a flash sale, so I can give you that for your members.
Oh, thank you. That's very exciting.
And
Great. So
I
we'll link
do
all.
have a podcast,
I
like you said.
know. Tell
So
us about your podcast. It's amazing. Tell
yeah,
us a little bit.
that was another baby of mine. Yeah, it's called Work Life Flow, and it's on all major podcast platforms. And I am exploring all kinds of topics from transformations of motherhood to work life integration to leadership in the home. And I'm so excited because I have had some dads come on too.
That's so great. I was
So
going
we'll
to say
see.
your guests are so varied, right? And so the conversations are really rich because they go beyond, the homeschooling thing or the just the corporate thing. You really paint a very full picture of what parenthood and work life can be. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
everybody should go listen. And can you tell us again what it's called?
Work Life Flow.
Work life flow. Awesome. Well, Kristen, it's been such a pleasure having you. And we will link all of your information below so people can get in touch with you and learn more about all of the wonderful things that you offer.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
My
My
pleasure.
pleasure.